What's up, everybody? I'm Mckenty. This is my second channel, and this is your home for my Twitch highlights and my podcast. So if you like this and you want to see more of that and you want to join the live streams, there's a link to that in the description of this video. And with that out of the way, let's talk about this. MGK's new documentary called My Life in Pink, which is coming out soon on Hulu. Quick update here. The documentary is now out. I watched the beginning of it with my wife last night, and it turns out I am in it. Well, at least a little bit. If you watch in the first couple minutes, you can hear my voice reading a couple of the tweets. I guess they used my audio from the video I did. I think it's called like Rock Fans Are Mad at MGK Again.
Fuck Machine Gun Kelly. Music fucking sucks.
MGK is not a rock artist, LOL.
He has such a wild stage presence.
So there we have it. I am a part of history. I'm famous. I'm a movie star now. Give me a round of applause. There is a trailer for this documentary about MGK. I've not watched it yet, but let's check it out and see what we think.
Rock artist, Machine Gun Kelly.
You have the #1 rock album this year.
My life wasn't always like this.
My life wasn't always like this. It shows him playing in front of a huge crowd.
You have the #1 rock album this year.
My life
Got this
wasn't
voice saying, it's kind of hard to hear everything in this. It says, you have the #1 rock album this year. And then he says, all dramatically, my life wasn't always like this.
I just don't think anyone saw me coming.
I just don't think anyone saw me coming. That reminds me of the kind of thing that like guys who post Wolf of Wall Street memes on Facebook say. Nobody saw me coming. Unleash your inner wolf.
And this is 112th and Dove.
We always
Okay,
had
so this takes me back because I used to live in Cleveland. Now, he's from the east side. He's from Shaker Heights. I lived on the west side in Lakewood and Cleveland. I lived on 114th in Detroit, right down the street from the Fantasy. For all of you Clevelanders out there, I didn't make it over to Shaker Heights too often, but, you know, everyone in Cleveland looks the same pretty much. And here it is.
these big dreams.
Ladies and gentlemen, how y'all feeling? I like that energy.
First music video I ever shot was right there in front of that AD.
Man, Ohio was full of places like this. He says, this is where I shot my first music video. I don't know where this is, but so much stuff like this in Cleveland. These just sad, depressing kind of corner stores like this. I don't miss that. And by the way, where's the license plate on this Yukon? You can get away without a front license plate. You can't have no license plate on the back, but in Cleveland, they just don't give a fuck.
DM Deli. I got a gun pulled on me right here. And I was like, we're gonna do this with my daughter in the car.
It's like a line from The Town, you know, where they say all these cool things. Someone puts a gun to his head and he's like, we gonna do this with my daughter here in the car? Just make it quick, that's all I ask.
His dad ended up kicking him out, so me and Kels lived in the basement.
I transferred all my own pain into music. Like,
Transfer all my own pain into music. So they're talking about his dad abandoning him or leaving their family, I guess, and transferring all that pain into music, which I'm sure is true. That's the case for pretty much every artist, right? I guess my issue with this is just that it's so melodramatic. You know what I mean? He's acting like it's such a, I don't know, such an incredible, unique story that like he grew up in a broken family and, you know, that inspired him to make music. And like, well, no shit. So did like everybody else in every band. Like nobody becomes a musician because they come from a stable family, right?
this makes me feel good. But the media chose to write me off.
But the media chose to write me off. And this is the other thing that kind of grinds my gears about this a little bit. I do think that the media, including me to some extent, I do think that people are unfair to MGK. I think that people in the sort of rock world are unfairly harsh to him. I think that's true. I think that they gatekeep the fuck out of him for totally unfair, invalid reasons. It is a fact that he has been doing rock for a long time, like 10 years. I've talked about this before. He did a song with Sleeping with Sirens 10 years ago. He did Warped Tour. Like, he is not brand new to rock. So I do think that it is fair when he says that the media writes him off, specifically that rock people are unfairly hard on him. I agree with that. But at the same time, he also brings a lot of this stuff on himself. What he does is act like kind of a dick, to be honest. You know, for example, talking shit about Slipknot while they're on stage next to you, and then acting like the victim when people get mad at you. It's just, I get it. Like, the rock media is unfair to him. But he brings so much of this on himself, and he seems incapable of recognizing that. Like, how hard would it be to just say, hey, I am sorry, Corey Taylor, like, I lost my cool on stage. I just, honestly, my ego was bruised because I saw people leaving, you know, to go watch Slipknot, and I stupidly lashed out at you guys. I'm sorry, my bad. And I'm sure Corey Taylor would be like, it's all good, man. Don't worry about it. So the tone of this documentary is more of that, of him positioning himself as this sort of victim who is bullied by everyone without really acknowledging that he brings a lot of this stuff on himself. You know, he says a lot of like very obnoxious shit and then plays the victim when people get mad at him for it. That is my issue. But if he wants people in rock to accept him, he's got to pull a Justin Bieber. You remember around like, what was it, like 2014 when they did the roast of Justin Bieber? And before that, pretty much everybody thought Justin Bieber was an obnoxious douche, because he was. He was acting like a fucking idiot, and people didn't like him for it. He did the roast of Justin Bieber, where he sort of let everybody just talk their shit. And then at the end, he was like, hey, you know, I just wanted to say, I know I've been an asshole in the past, but I've really grown up a lot, and I'm going to be better from now on. Thank you guys for your support. And I think that was like the turning point for Justin Bieber. After that, people were like, you know what? Maybe he's not so bad. He put out an album that was really fucking good. And then people started to like Justin Bieber. And that's what I think MGK should do. We'll keep watching and see if maybe there's more in this trailer that suggests that the tone has changed. But he can't keep painting himself as the victim after doing so many things where he is deliberately obnoxious and brings a lot of the hate on himself.
Last night at the MTV VMAs, Conor McGregor was caught on video throwing his drink at Machine Gun Kelly.
I don't know what that was all about. Conor McGregor throwing shit at Machine Gun Kelly. I don't know what that's about, but Conor McGregor, another person that probably needs to control his words and emotions a little bit better.
Some taking things too far, throwing tree branches and beverages at him.
Listen to that. The voiceover. It's your boy Brian from Rockfeed. It's your boy Brian. Shout out to Rockfeed.
Too far, throwing tree branches and beverages at him.
And he's right. That is people taking things too far. You don't have to like MGK. You can think he's a giant asshole, but it's not cool to throw shit like tree branches and rocks and water bottles. It's not cool to throw stuff at people on stage. You shouldn't do that.
But I never gave up.
But I never gave up. He's a fighter.
We made
against all odds.
Piece of work. For me, it was like working on a Blink album. I loved it like it was my own.
The fans loved it.
I don't understand why Travis Barker is like hitched himself to Machine Gun Kelly of all people. I feel like he has a lot better options for people to collaborate with and people to be friends with than MGK. Again, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I don't think MGK is a bad guy. I really don't. Like, what I see in him is somebody who is still working through a lot of issues with like regulating your emotions. And he's doing that in public, and he's getting a ton of success. So I understand why he wouldn't feel like he needs to pump the brakes, but he doesn't seem like a happy person to me. You know, if you listen to the lyrics on his new album, he talks a lot about like being sad and using drugs to cope with that. So if he's happy with where he's at, then by all means, go for it. And he's obviously having a ton of success with his music. But it seems to me that if you're writing songs about how unhappy you are and how you're using drugs to cope, that something should change. That's what I would say to him if I was talking to him.
But the world was rooting against us.
His music sucks. He's a sellout.
People say that stuff about my dad, but you will only see one side.
And I think that's probably true too. You know, this is his daughter. She said, people say that stuff about my dad, but you only see one side. You know, I don't think he's like a horrible person. I think he just needs to work on anger management and choosing his words a little bit more carefully.
One side.
Going to my daughter's volleyball game at 9:30 in the morning.
Good for him. Going to his daughter's volleyball game, even though he's got a lot of shit going on, that shit's important. Your daughter doesn't give a fuck how many people went to your show last night. She cares, did you go to her volleyball game? So shout out to him for doing that. That's important.
Last time I heard from him, I was like, I love you.
Yeah, his daughter's
so
like
much,
13 or something, I think.
I'm so sorry for how we lived this life together. We'll do it better on the next one.
I fill my lungs cause my heart's made of concrete.
90% of my
like, I mean, that line right there, I fill my lungs because my heart's made of concrete. Like, that lyric is not written by a happy person. So either he is, you know, on the one hand, you could say, oh, he's just making it up. He's writing these emo lyrics because that's what people want. But I doubt that's true. I think he's writing that because that's what he feels. So much of life is about the story that you tell yourself, you know, like self-talk. And oftentimes the things that we tell ourselves end up becoming true. So if you tell yourself the story that the world hates you and everyone's against you, and no matter what you say or do, people are going to hate you, and it's not your fault because you're just a victim of bullying, well, then that is all going to become true, right? On the other hand, you know, he's still young. There's still an opportunity for him to say, you know what? Everything I used to think was wrong. I realized that I was being an obnoxious dick, and that's actually the reason why a lot of people hate me, just like Justin Bieber did. I'm going to reboot my life and my personality and the way I do things. This is the first day of the rest of my life. It's never too late to do that. Oh, he lost his dad last year. Okay, got it. Okay, well, yeah, that's tough. And even though his dad left the family, and that obviously, you know, hurt him, losing your dad is still tough. So, you know, I by no means want to make light of that.
I have a really rough time this couple months, and your music helped me.
This has to be life-changing.
But without you,
I think icon is maybe a little bit of an overstatement at this point, but, you know, if he keeps going at this rate, maybe in 10 years he will be an icon. At this point, I would say probably a little bit premature, but I don't want to discount his success.
That's what's so cool about music. So many different personalities and so much that we don't have in common with each other. But when that one song comes on that we all love, it all goes away. And we're all one.
Well, there we have it. That is the trailer for the MGK Machine Gun Kelly documentary, Life in Pink, coming soon to Hulu. Yeah, the whole thing to me feels kind of like melodramatic. And again, my issue with MGK is like, what's the right way to put it? He is frustrating to me because I see that so many of the things he is struggling with are of his own creation. Does that make sense? Because I have struggled with a lot of things in my life that were also of my creation. And again, it seems like he just has this narrative in his head that it's like me against the world. Nobody understands me. Nobody likes me. Like, he's sort of decided that that's the way things are. And it's not really true. I mean, the guy is super famous, great looking, rich as fuck. Like, he has a great life. I don't think it's really true that the world is out to get you. It's not true. Clearly, if the world is out to get you, you wouldn't have achieved everything that you have. Just anytime I see someone like that sort of struggling against obstacles of their own creation, it's frustrating. And the reason I would like him to overcome that, I don't know the guy, like whatever path his life takes doesn't affect me, but because a lot of people do look up to him and see him as a role model, I believe that he can make a big positive difference in the lives of other people if he was willing to just have that moment of looking in the mirror and saying, you know what, a lot of these problems are because of my actions. I'm going to take responsibility for that, and I'm going to change starting today. That's what I would like to see from him. So yeah, I think the movie is not going to be good, but I'll probably watch it. And, you know, look, he's still pretty young. I think there's still time for him to kind of turn things around, and I hope that he does.